Hello everyone, today we'll be presenting to you on how microbes are everywhere and will be presented by myself, John, Daryl, Danook and Paige. Microbes are found everywhere, from the device you're using to watch this now, your phone, your toothbrush, and even the soil your fruit and veggies are grown in. But what are microbes? A microbe is a living organism that spends its life at a size usually only visible with a microscope. They're the oldest life form on Earth. They live as individuals or clustered together in communities in the food we eat, water we drink, air we breathe, and everything we touch. When we think of microbes, we generally think of bacteria, but there are four other types. Whilst the majority of people see the microbes as germs and can cause illness, 95% of them actually have countless benefits. Naming only a few, they can control disease, they act as biological control agents, and are a major source of products including pharmaceuticals and food supplements.
Viruses are a tiny bundle of genetic material carried in a shell called a viral coat. They vary in shape and are pretty much found everywhere where there are cells to infect, but they can be picky. Viruses only exist to reproduce, and they take over any suitable host cell. They release their genes inside the cell once contact has been made with the viral coat and host cell wall and membrane, injecting their genes into the host cell DNA or tricking the host cell into putting it inside. Viral genes are then copied many times using the same process the host cell would use to copy its own DNA. Viral genes then come together and assemble into a... Bacteria consist of individual cells, and there are thousands of species. They can be one of three shapes: rods, balls, or helices, also known as spirals, and they cluster together to form pairs, chains, squares, or other groups. Some can make their own food, known as autotrophs, produce their own oxygen, absorb food from their surroundings, while some use a flagella to move around. Some secrete a slime layer, while others don't move. The environments they live in also vary greatly, including the temperatures, salt concentrations, pH levels, and many more aspects. Algae is found in fresh and salt water, on rocks, trees, and in soil where enough water is available. Most can photosynthesize. They can actually produce a large amount of oxygen that humans breathe. But at some stages of their lives, they can get enough nutrients from other things. Algae are very helpful because they make so much oxygen. However, sometimes certain kinds of algae can grow in such large numbers that when they die off in masses, the breaking down of their cells by bacteria destroys the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water, harming the animals and plants that live there. Fungi used to be confused with plants. However, it was discovered that fungi are more like animals than plants at the cellular level. They cannot photosynthesize, however they eat other organisms just as animals do. Their shapes, sizes, and types vary and exist as individual celled organisms known as yeasts or multicellular clusters known as molds or mushrooms. Fungi live everywhere from soil, on our bodies, in our house, on plants and animals, and in fresh water and seawater. They're basically stationary and spread by reproductive spores carried by the wind or rain, or growing and extending their hyphae. Protozoa are probably the least discussed microbe. They hunt other microbes as animals do, and mainly feed on bacteria. They also eat other protozoa and sometimes fungi. Protozoa vary greatly in size and can be classified into three groups based on their shape: ciliates, amoebae, and flagellates. Most cannot harm humans, but there are a few that can cause disease.
As a child, we are told to wash our hands before dinner or after going outside to play. By washing up, we believe that we are clean and microorganisms free. However, the truth is far from it. We're exposed to several places every single day that serves as a breeding ground for microbial life. But don't get too disgusted now, Kate. Wait until you hear these outstanding facts. So, it's been a couple of months since supermarkets such as Kohl's and Woolies has endorsed the banning of plastic bags. While I like the idea of saving the earth through recycling, you're not really doing yourself a favor. These multi-use bags, which are often stored in the boot of people's car, are filled with germs. The boot of your cars is basically the equivalent of you being in a swimming pool along with 200 million other people. In addition to that, you put raw poultry, meats, and veggies inside these grocery bags, which just amplifies the amount of microbes such as E. coli and coliform present in it. Imagine this. After shopping, you put your reusable bags next to the kitchen sink. You sigh because there are still dishes left over to be washed and or put into the dishwasher. Consequently, food particles on the plates waiting to be washed actually serves as a breeding ground for bacteria. These includes E. coli and Salmonella. They get into your hands or spread to other foods yet to be consumed. They can lead to illnesses such as salmonellosis. It's funny because the thing you use to wash your plates with, aka the sponge, easily tops every single household. There's about 362 different species of bacteria living in these and 45 billion per square centimeters. Hence why it is recommended to dispose of it every single week. Other places that harbor bacteria are your devices and computer keyboards. Your phones are about 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat, harboring more than 7,000 types of bacteria. The warm environment on your phone allows microbes such as E. coli and influenza to thrive. Additionally, toothbrushes, bath towels, bags, and money are also other common areas where microbial life is thriving in. Poor hygienic techniques leads to consequences because pathogens can affect us in numerous number of ways. Bacteria can affect us humans through toxicity. This is when the bacteria produces toxins, which damages specific tissues in the body. Another way is known as invasiveness, and is where the bacteria multiply at a high rate to the point of overcoming the body's defenses. Viruses, on the other hand, enter through the respiratory tract and will sit on the lipid membrane. This can cause diseases such as the common cold, flu, HIV, and AIDS. Other pathogens such as fungi actually invade the tissues as well. However, not all microbes are bad for you. The old friends theory entails about the friendly germs helping us. An example of these are antibiotics. There's no need to take antibiotics each time you're sick because your body gets used to it. Furthermore, exposure to pets, dirt, and the rest of the outside world is necessary for babies and children, as this will help develop their immune system.
And that's our presentation for Microbes Are Everywhere. Thanks for listening.